Namaskar, Jai Hind. You know, it all actually feels that one is part of family because 90% of the faces in the audience are known to me. We have worked in some capacity. Firstly, dignitaries on stage, each of you have been such inspirations to us. And I want to say that today's award is not about us individuals. I think it is about recognizing the power that India stands for. I'm going to make my address very brief, and thank you so much, Vivek ji. But I'm going to keep it very simple, and I think, given that I have been very fortunate to have been born at a particular time when CSR was being conceptualized in this country, it gives me immense pride today, ladies and gentlemen, just like it must give each one of you pride, that India is the first country in the world to have had a legislation on CSR. No other country has dared to actually have a legislation on CSR. And therefore, we are the only country in the world to have the Bharatiya model of CSR, and that's where, you know, Dr. Bhaskar Chatterjee is not here, but I think he and his team at the Department of Public Enterprises, I want to salute them, and I think the country has done a major, major disservice. I keep saying this to Dr. Sanjeev Sanyal, who you might be knowing. We have only one goal right now, and I want to say this publicly. Nowadays, I just have one irritation always, especially when I go to such conferences and conclaves. You know, I respect every nation and their development trajectory. But I find it extremely irritating, extremely talking down upon when I hear lectures from the West telling us what should be our sustainability and CSR journey. And I think it's time today, when India has arrived, and as the Vishwa Guru, I think it's our time to speak. And when we speak of CSR, when we speak of responsible business, today the world has not heard the real champions of India's growth. Private sector has done phenomenally well. But I think our public sector undertakings, who have been the silent beacons of India's inclusive growth story, not just growth, we have done as a country a huge disservice, and that is where individuals like Vivek ji deserve our full support. Full support. Every other day I am invited in some jury or some PSU awards. In fact, many of you have got awards from me. Heartiest congratulations to all of you. What is so different, and I want to say this, you know, with full honesty. Vivek ji, and sir, you as well, you represent a very, very important part of civil society, which is the media and the press. I strongly believe, and I wear the flag on my sleeve pretty much, the reason that I'm proud to be an Indian is because of India's public sector enterprises. So please, everybody in the house, if you're from the public sector enterprises, please deserve a round of applause. Vivek ji and all the others associated with this event, being part of the press and being part of the media, are actually filling a very critical gap in the CSR ecosystem today. And that is C for credibility. I think today when the media asks questions, the media asks questions that are well researched. And what I am, firstly, you know, I'm so amazed. This is the first award program where I see that a CSR program on mental health is being spoken about. My work in the last 1 decade has been, I was very lucky to be part of the Government of India Committee back in 2011. My colleagues from DPE are not here, but I want to recognize their contribution. But when you recognize an underrepresented area like mental health, when you actually say that we are aligning with Honorable PM's latest initiative, Ek Ped Maa Ke Naam, and when you are actually planting trees, this is only possible by public sector. Let me tell you this. And therefore, back then I remember when this bill was being tabled in Parliament, some of us vehemently said, PSUs do not need to do CSR. A PSU has the name public. A PSU nature of business is CSR. But despite that, each of you, and I have myself visited places like Chhattisgarh, there was an award for aspirational districts. I led a study for the government of India in 2012 on scope of CSR in aspirational districts. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this award does not do justice to some of the challenging locations where companies like Coal India Limited, I think they are here, companies like NTPC, GAIL, HPCL, BPCL, name it. The kind of work that is happening on the field, and I agree with one of the speakers before me, is not reaching the people. And therefore, I have a problem when the West lecture us using their indices. I have a serious problem, and so should you. India should have its own standards. We decide, we today take the call. We are the Vishwa Guru. It is India's time. It is your time, it is my time, it is a time for PSUs to talk about, and so far, I know that PSUs have not spoken. That's the style of PSUs. You work in a very subdued, and that is why today my entire work has been, and I have been a vocal advocate of it. Please do not lecture us. We know how to do development. Our Honorable PM has set a vision for a Viksit Bharat. And therefore, today when I was sitting, I actually wrote of an equation. And for me, today's equation is VA plus VB is equal to VG. Do any of you want to, because so far it has just been a one-way conversation. Any of you would like to take an attempt? What is VA, what is VB, what is VG? Because CSR में जो काम कर रहा है, we often think, oh, it's a punishment posting. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if you are handling CSR in your department, you are the brightest sparks in your company. Because CSR cannot happen without empathy. It cannot happen without creativity. It cannot happen without having a larger vision. And therefore, Vivek ji is actually continuing the work of someone whose name he shares. And let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. I do not care about the West lecturing us about their models of CSR. For me, CSR's father, of course, Dr. Chatterjee is widely acclaimed, but for me, the real father, the real guru of CSR in our country are two people. One of whose name Vivek ji actually has. Any guesses? Swami Vivekananda. It was Swami Vivekananda ji, when he was on a ship with the very famous J.R.D. Tata, that you had institutions of excellence like the Indian Institute of Science that was born. If you look at carefully the teachings of Swami Vivekananda ji, you will see that all the principles of CSR, sustainability, blah, blah, we talk about. It is enshrined in our Indian civilizational history. Sanjeev Sanyal says. You know who Sanjeev Sanyal is? Member of Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council. Great historian, great economist. Now, as we talk about building an economy, we're also talking about reclaiming India's civilizational glory. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, just like you are focusing on mental health going forward, can we also start having CSR for art and culture? I work in the area of sustainability. I chair the social standards for the Bureau of Indian Standards. And today we are embarking upon India being the first country to have its own sustainability reporting standards. India will be the first country in the world to have its own sustainability reporting standards where CSR is going to be integrated with ESG. Therefore, I think Vivek ji and, okay, VA plus VB is equal to VG. Any guesses? Else I'll tell you what the equation is. Hanji? VA is who? Are, of course. Vivek Avasthi, na? So he's the catalyst that has brought all of us together. And we need to continue to support initiatives like this. What is VB? Hanji? Are, wow, wow. Excellent. See, that's why PSUs, exactly. Viksit Bharat. Let's be very clear. You building one compound wall or you giving funds to your district collector is not going to do either you or the communities or the country any good. Please understand. You have been asked by the government of India to show the way, just like you have shown the way post-independence. It is the PSUs. All of you will know about the Mahalanobis model when the Planning Commission was there. It is the PSUs that have built India. And today, as we race towards 2047, as we race towards 2030, where India is a signatory on the Sustainable Development Goals, all your ad hoc CSR activities are of no use. You are doing a disservice to the country. And therefore, please take this very seriously. That is why our Honorable PM has set a vision. And as a PSU, you are expected to help supplement government efforts. We are all trying in our own way. And what is VG? Absolutely. For me, PSUs are the Vishwa Guru. When we talk of ESG, in my committee that I chair on the sustainability standards, I was very clear in my committee that I will reference the Global Reporting Initiative. I will reference the ESRS, European Sustainability Reporting Standards. I will look at everything. But eventually, I will do what India wants. I will do what minds like you from India think India needs. So we are this year about to unravel India's ESG standards. Many of you may not know, the Bureau of Indian Standards has developed a uniquely CSR standard for India called IS 26001. We have it all with us. I will end with just, for me, I don't believe in CSR. And when I say I don't believe in CSR, I mean this way CSR is done elsewhere, not here. Because this has been such an excellent, you have recognized mental health, it has stayed on with me. Maybe, we also need to talk about thematic and geographic areas, and my compliments to RVNL, Coal India, and all the other winners who are doing work in aspirational districts. I don't know if any of you know about Narayanpur in Chhattisgarh. And for me, this is a case study from India. When we talk of partnerships, when we talk of globalization, I'm very clear, and I think the government of India is very clear. You listen to us, we listen to you. You lecture us, we reject you. Okay? I think people like you are doing excellent work on the field. But today, people like Vivek ji are filling a very, very critical gap. And I invite more media persons. I invite more researchers, academics. And that is why I have voluntarily given my time and energy to his initiative, to his vision. Please let us take these success stories to the people. We are not a perfect nation, but we are absolutely on the right path. If there is good happening from this country, let's celebrate. And please, therefore, be a part of such events. Please support Vivek ji. Please support whoever else is doing such initiatives. And I'll end with, it's a matter of great pride that today India is the first country to have not only successfully had a legislation which has completed a decade. If you remember, 1st April 2014 was when the CSR rules were framed, and 1st April 2024 was when we completed a decade. My humble request to all of you is, let us forget about CSR as we look at the next 10 years. We have 2 important milestones, actually 3, in front of us that the Honorable PM has outlined for us. 2030, the clock is ticking. We have only 5 years. Many of you will know the SDGs are our target. India's national prestige is dependent upon our SDG achievements. The PSUs are the only hope. Private sector, of course, is doing its bit. But the PSUs have taken a leadership position, and today the country expects PSUs to help the country achieve the SDGs by 2030. Second, 2047. All of you know that your ministries have all been given a Viksit Bharat focus. All that you have to do is not to look at CSR from a compliance perspective. The government of India doesn't want money from PSUs for their CSR. It requires innovation. I think somebody spoke about it. It requires purpose. It requires nation building. We are in the second phase of nation building. And if for me and for my daughter, there is only one hope for a better world, it is going to be India as the Vishwa Guru. My heartiest compliments to all of you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you.